Welcome back. I'm Amelia Perro, and this is the Cobargo IT 2026 PI Law Technology Series. Today, we're talking about AI, not the hype version, not the science fiction version, but the actual tools PI firms are deploying right now and the real numbers behind the results. Yuval Gorin, CEO of Cobargo IT, is here with me. Yuval, welcome. Let's cut straight to it. There's so much noise around AI right now. How do you actually separate what's useful for a PI firm from what's just marketing?
Well, the filter I use is simple. Does it reduce a specific measurable cost, or does it accelerate a specific measurable outcome? If someone can't answer that question clearly, it's probably hype. For PI firms specifically, the AI use case that pass that filter right now are document drafting and review, medical record summarizations or chronologies, legal research, intake automation, and operational workflow. Those are the five key areas where the technology is mature, the ROI is measurable, and the implementation risk is manageable. Things like AI strategy advisor or AI firm culture tool. I'm not saying those don't exist. I'm saying they're not where a PI firm should start. Start with the workflow you do 1,000 times and automate that. And then build from there.
So let's go through those use cases. Start with document drafting. What does AI assisted demand letter drafting actually look like in practice?
Well, here's an example. Uh, and I'm not advocating for one tool over another, but even up. Uh, It's purpose built for PI. You feed it the case files, the medical records, the incident report, treatment history, bills, and it generates a demand letter that's tailored to the specific facts, jurisdiction, and damages of that case. Now, to be very clear, this is a first draft, not a final product. An attorney still reviews it, refines it, applies their judgment, but instead of starting from a blank page and spending 2 to 4 hours on a demand letter, an attorney is starting from a detailed, well organized first draft and spending 30 to 45 minutes refining it. Do that across 50 cases a month, and you're recapturing somewhere between 75 and 150 attorney hours. I mean, those are real numbers, right? With a big impact. But it's not just drafting speed. We're looking for consistency. AI generated demand letters, when properly supervised, have fewer errors, more consistent structure based on how you set it up with your templates, uh, and they often surface damages or medical facts that a busy attorney may miss. That's not just efficiency, that's better outcomes for clients as well.
What about medical record summarization? That's another area where PI firms spend enormous paralegal time, right?
Yeah, I mean, this might actually be the single highest ROI AI application for PI. Medical records for a serious PI case can be hundreds or thousands of pages. Paralegals spend hours, sometimes days, going through those records, building the chronologies, identifying key treatment milestones, and flagging gaps in the care. AI platforms like Filevine's built-in tools or specialized products, uh, Eve AI, EvenUp, Supio, they can now process that medical record stack, build a chronology automatically, flag inconsistencies, identify missing documentation, and surface the key medical facts that affect liability and the damages. So what used to take a paralegal 2 days takes the AI 20 minutes. And critically, it finds things. It finds the note on page 874 that mentions a pre-existing condition that's relevant to damages. So it flags the 6 week gap in treatment that an insurance adjuster will use to argue the client wasn't seriously injured. These are the things that affect case value. And the AI, it's going to catch those inconsistencies that human review may miss, especially on the high volume, repetitive work. That's critical and has significant impact on potential damages.
Hmm. Legal research is another area you mentioned. How is AI changing that for PI firms?
The legal research use case is powerful, but it requires more careful implementation. Platforms like CoCounsel, LexisNexis Protege, they can analyze a set of facts, search relevant case law and statutes, and generate research memos in a fraction of the time it used to take. For PI attorneys, the high value applications are jurisdiction specific damages and research, finding relevant precedent for unusual injury types or liability theories, and predictive analytics. So, using historical verdict and settlement data to estimate case value ranges, right? It allows you to score the value of a potential case and help you with what is the right damages demand to make. That last one is particularly valuable for negotiation strategy and client counseling. Instead of based on my experience, I think this case is worth X. Now you could say based on 10,000 comparable cases in this jurisdiction with this type of injury, the median settlement for this injury profile is X with a range of Y to Z. So a little more uh, data based, right? And AI is going to help attorneys with that. The caveat I always give is AI is legal research. It needs supervised uh, attorney supervision, right? The hallucination risk is real. These models can generate citations that sound authoritative but don't exist. We hear about it all the time. Every AI generated research output, it needs verification before it goes anywhere near a client or anywhere near a court filing. That's not a reason not to use it. It's just a discipline that you must apply.
Now, the report mentions 20 to 35% reduction in case processing time for firms with comprehensive AI adoption. How do you get to that number?
It accumulates across the workflow. Intake automation saves 1 to 2 hours per new case that's used to that used to require staff to manually enter data, make follow-up calls, and schedule consultations. Medical record summarizations saves anywhere from 2 to 8 hours per case, depending on volume. Document drafting saves 2 to 4 hours per case. Demand letter. Automated deadline tracking, task management saves another 1 to 2 hours per case per month in admin overhead. I, you add that up across 50 to 200 active cases, and you're talking about hundreds of hours per month of recovered capacity. Even if you wanted to be conservative and cut that in half, it's significant time and resource utilization. Some of that becomes increased over case volume. The firm can handle more cases with the same staff. Some of it becomes better quality. Attorneys have more time for strategy and client relationships. And some of it becomes cost savings. You need fewer paralegals to process the same volume. So 20 to 35% is the range across firms that have deployed comprehensively. Firms that have piloted one tool in one workflow seems they're going to see smaller gains. The compounding effect happens when you automate across the full case life cycle.
What's the most important thing a firm needs to have in place before they start deploying AI tools?
a governance framework, right? Written policies before you turn on the first tool. Specifically, which tools are approved for firm use and which are not. Who's using AI that you don't know about, right? Being able to suss that out is important. What client data can be processed through AI and what requires explicit consent. What requires, what review process is required before AI? Generated content, before we give any generated content to a client or court. And who's responsible for monitoring AI outputs and responding when something goes wrong? The firms that get into trouble with AI are the ones that let attorneys and staff start using public tools, ad hoc, or even their own personal AI without any policy framework. Someone submits a brief with an AI generated citation that doesn't exist. That's a problem. Someone runs client medical records through consumer AI tool that uses that data for model training. There's no BAA. It's somebody's personal health information that's now in the public realm. Those are real scenarios that have happened. The governance framework is what prevents them. And that is what we need to do first.
Yep, it's critical guidance. In our next episode, we get into the regulatory and compliance landscape, state laws, bar ethics opinions, the compliance framework the compliance framework every PI firm needs to have in place before they bring on AI. See you then.